Today I'm going over how to replace this whole rear tail light assembly. You can pull it off. Let's say you've backed into somebody, cracked that, you need to throw a new one on. That's what I'm going over today. And of course this is for a 2024 Toyota Corolla, and anything within this same generation of vehicles this will apply to. First we're going to go into the trunk here, and you will need a couple tools. 10mm socket, and then these trim tools here are super helpful. I'll put a link in the description. And I just cached my roll of tape. Now what I like to do to start off is do this edge right here, because as you pull this light off, the paint's going to want to chip. Just this corner, but you can cover this whole edge if you want to, if you're pulling this out. There is a pressure fitting here which makes pulling this out difficult, but we're going to start off by opening the back here to get to our wire harness. We're going to take our larger pry tool and come to these guys. These are just pressure fittings, so this wiggles in there and they will want to fly out, so save these guys. They also break from time to time, so you might need to buy replacements. I'll throw those in the description as well. I'm going to grab this one down here. And these do take a good little bit of force to pry out. That's why I got the bigger pry tool on this one. And let's see, we're gonna pull this back. This reveals that. We got one more to do right here. So that we can peel back and reveals the back of the light. Now just changing the bulb is just doing this, but this lets us release this wire harness down here. So let's take a look at that. All right, so I got this done. Don't yank on the wires ever. If you damage this harness, it gets a lot more expensive. But that's the pressure tab that you have to push down. It's kind of hard with big fingers to do this, so you might want to use a screwdriver or something to get that disconnected from here to here. Then we have a rubber fitting up here, and this guy just pushes in, push the rubber in, and now we're going to actually remove the light. So we're going to start off by removing this panel next. So when removing this panel, start right here, use our pry tool, gently pry right here like that. Then we're going to follow this edge down to here and pry until it pops out there. Now it's pretty hard to get this out without breaking these things, so just be careful, do what you can, but they break. Now we got our 10mm bolts here that have been revealed, and we're gonna take those guys off. Boom, there's one. And we're gonna grab the next one. There's our next bolt. So we got those two bolts clear. So you can gently pry here to get it started. Do not pry here or here. This is a nice spot for a tool. You're gonna wiggle. So I'm going in a circular motion, and I'm putting a pretty fair amount of force on this. I'm also being mindful of the seal right here because it is pushing against that. And circular motions, I'm putting a fair bit of force into this. I'll show you another angle. And we have our tape here. You can go the whole length, but just this corner can get scratched as you're doing this. And as I'm pulling, I'm rotating. I'm giving it some rotation because there's a rubber fitting in there that's holding onto the light bulb back here. So I'm using this tool to pry back here a little. You could also, there we go. You can also get your fingers in here and here and gently pull straight back. So once you get some space, if you can get your fingers under here and here and pull straight back like that, that is a good way to go about it. We're gonna reach back here and we got our wiring harness. We got our rubber piece there all disconnected. So this is the rubber fitting that is so hard to get out and so hard to pull, and you just have to pull straight out in kind of circular motion, steady pressure, and pull it out. So once you have this, I'm just going to go back through the procedure. I'm going to thread our light through here. So this goes back through our hole here, and then we can reach in. And then we're gonna put this boot back in. And if you actually massage in a circular motion as you're pulling, it pops right into place. Then we're gonna line up our pressure fitting, and then this is a little guide back here to hold it in place. And we'll line all that up and give it a push. So then I got the tail lined up. I got our pressure fitting lined up. I also have the bolts on this side lined up, and you just give it a firm push until it pops into place. So we made sure our fitting here is all the way in. That's looking good. Then we attach it here, and you hear that click into place. There we go. That's clicked. Then we got to tuck our liner back into the frame here and get that started. We'll see our bolt holes line up. Then these fittings here will just go in, boom, just like so. They just push in here and down here, and those are in. And then we have our last one up here. Then we put our screws back in to the spots here and here and tighten those down. One thing, don't torque these down very tight. Once you feel the bolt touch and start to give some resistance, maybe a quarter turn or an eighth turn, and that's all you need. So when I say eighth turn or quarter turn, find your spot and then go maybe that much. That's all you need. Boom. There it is. And don't put a ton of pressure on those. This is plastic, so if you torque it real tight, it will crack. And my ratchet's giving me a little bit of a hard time. It's about time to replace that one, but I'm just gonna feel these, make sure they're good and snug. Then we put our protective cover back on. That's this guy. It lines up here and here. Let's see. Yep, there we go. That goes in. Push firm, snap into place. If this video is helpful, then we'll take our protective tape off there. If this video was helpful or you need any of the parts, give a thumbs up. Check out the description for any parts. It helps me out a lot. And let me know how it went. The hardest thing about this is just pulling this off without prying outward. So it's tough. So let me know how it goes.